Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mike Armstrong podcast show. And this afternoon, I'm joined by Robert Price, who's a fellow Welsh entrepreneur from a business called Simply Apps. He's also a fellow Gwenter or Caffilia, as we are now, based not too far away from where I live in. So, how are you doing today, Robert? You okay?
Yeah, very well. Keeping busy and trying to fight the good fight, as they say.
Yeah, good man, good man. And
Try.
we met recently when you started going networking online at Intrabiz. And it's been great to meet you. I think we've had a chat previous to this, but this is pretty early on in us getting to know each other. And obviously, we've seen each other online, talk about what we do a bit. So I know you do app development and all of that. But for the benefit of my audience and my network, do you want to just give us a little bit of a background to what you do?
Yeah, so you're right. So we did meet on Intrabiz, which is and the networking events have helped me greatly by introducing me to lots of different areas and arenas that I never thought of. But essentially, what we do is we provide mobile apps for Android and iPhone, others as well. But they're predominantly the market leaders. So all the apps that you see on your phone are developed by somebody, and we develop apps for businesses, bespoke to them, branded for them. And it's their app. We don't own it. We hand it over to them, and then we support them through the whole process. And the end game is to increase retention of customers, increase your customer base, increase sales. Lots of different returns on investment for people. But we talk to them about what it is their business do, and then we design an app that really draws out the best parts of their business and essentially tries to create the revenue from it.
Yeah.
And it's new technology, and it's the future. Everybody understands that online is the way to go. I have a 25-year-old daughter who won't buy anything unless she uses an app to do it. So that tells you where the world is going, and businesses are slowly embracing that, and we're part of that revolution, really.
Yeah, good. And are you a coder, Bob, or are you the man who puts it all together?
I'm a bit of both. So we have a development team who codes for us based on requirements we give them in the initial conversations. We do have hard-coded pieces already available. We don't reinvent the wheel all the time, and by doing that, we keep the costs down because we regenerate the same code and then tweak it for the bespoke items that the businesses want. So, but it's only me people ever deal with, or my partner, and we're the ones that build it, and I get developers to code pieces that I can't do myself. So we can do completely bespoke things, but we cover probably 60 or 70 features that cover 70% of people's requirements.
So it's a bit more like plug and play then, if you like. It's like build the architecture and then just pop in the features. A bit like that's how I build websites. I build websites. So I use a theme builder, Ultimatum I use on WordPress. So it's just like just drag and drop, really.
It is, yeah, and it sounds simplistic to people, but it can get very complex. Like as I'm sure you're aware in websites, and every business is peculiar about how they want things to look and feel and font. Our experience tells us there's probably 6 or 7 man days to create a demo good enough to show somebody for the first time and go, is this exactly what you want? And another 2 or 3 days after that of man time to finalize those bits and pieces. So it's not a simple bit of kit, but yes, you're right. It's a pre-coded. We drag and drop. We then configure it depending on what they want, and those uses are wide and varied. Really are wide and varied.
Yeah. Have you got a portfolio where people can go in and look at some of your work?
Yeah, we've got a whole mobile gallery that we offer to people to see. And that's all they do is type in the link to the show to all different sorts of industries, examples of the demos that you can have. Obviously, for copyright reasons, I can't show people ones we've created because that are live, because they're copyrighted to those businesses. But we do have a gallery of demo items that people can see: hairdressers, butchers, sports clubs, personal instructors, all sorts of different environments.
Yeah,
And they're freely available.
do you send that link out, or is there a place where people can go and view that? Because I'd be interested in having a view of that myself.
You can see it on the website, simplyapps.co.uk. The features are up there. Go around the stuff which is website based, obviously, but there's an actual section which shows you all the features you can use, and there's also the mobile app gallery where you can view the demo. What we tell everybody, Mike, is we do a free demo. So people that talk to us, give us a 5 or 10 minute chat, show us your website, show us what you do, let us think about the sort of things you can do, and we will show you a free demo with no obligation. Have a look at it, and if you like it, at that point you can start talking about, do you want to progress? And if you don't, then jobs are good. You know, that's the choice. But we always find that until people see it, they can't imagine it, and therefore they can't imagine how well it works for them. So. And that's exactly what we do. We've just done the Newport Dragons one, and that's exactly how that started. Somebody we knew, we showed them a demo that we did, and then we grew with them over a period of weeks, and we just sent their app off for publishing this morning. So it is a bit of a journey, but we ask people to come on that journey and tell us what you want. If you don't like what we do, keep in mind it's our head, in the first instance. You may have a different idea, and then we go with it. Your app, we'll build it as you want, but use our experience and knowledge to tell you what works in the first case, I guess. But the free demo works really well, just showing people. It generally knocks their socks off, and because they see the benefit of it then afterwards.
Yeah, fair enough. I've got a couple of ideas myself for some interesting apps, actually. So we'll have to have a chat maybe at the end of the recorded call, so I can give you some ideas of some apps I think would be sort of very popular, much needed apps for multiple industries or multiple businesses, which is because I used to build, I used to sell high-end IT solutions to corporate companies, 10 million plus turnover businesses.
Okay,
and we'd go into those companies, work out what software they had in place at the moment that wasn't quite working as well as they could, and we'd work out how we could sell them something or build them something that would be better.
Yeah.
And so, naturally, I think involve, in a way of tech solution, which not many people do, which means I have a lot of ideas come to me all the time. And I wish I was a coder, because I'd probably code all of these things, but I'm not a coder. So I always need somebody who either is a coder or is a visionary and knows some coders.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. It's all about your imagination. You know, the pretty standard stuff is pretty standard stuff. If you've got a little bit of imagination, and I'll give you a real example of that. So I have a real interest in care homes. My father's in one, and I'm the family person, and I see a distinct lack of technology in being used. And I was talking to one yesterday where I showed them it took a care home 5 emails to get hold of me with an approval for my father to have a flu jab. I put together a form on an app which was signed that they can use for everybody. And said, look, that's all you got to do is send it out to them onto their phone. They get a notification, everybody reads their notifications, and they go in, fill it in, send it off, and you've got it. You know it's not missed, and there are fallbacks to that. But it just shows how easy technology made that, rather than me getting an email. I had to print it out, then sign it, then scan it back in, and then email it to the home. And just that simple thing will save not just me as a family time, but the care home time, chasing me up, sending me emails all the time, because they've got 100 beds, so 100 residents. You know, that's a lot of emails you were sending out. A lot of times you've got to check people. You know, I had 5. It's not just about increasing sales, it's about being innovative in what you think you can achieve. Sometimes it's about service, just showing people a convenience of the app. I mean, this is your people will love it. Your clients will love this. You know, just for the fact you bothered to do it for them. But you're right.
I love the efficiency and the time saving, the cost saving, and all that technology does deliver to businesses. So for me, I'm always advising and getting people to improve their business and use tech more and more, especially on their websites, which is still a massively underutilized area for people to be able to do more interaction with their customers and their clients, and actually get the website working for them as a tool, not just being sat there as a brochure, if you like. And apps is another extended version of that actually gets, put into the more prime real estate, in people's lives, which is their telephone, their mobile phone.
Absolutely. Who doesn't have their phone on them all the time?
Plus notifications, as you said, people send me emails all the time. I don't always see them because they're lost in amongst millions of others. But if any of my apps pop up with a number 1 on or a number 10 on or whatever, and I think, I got some notifications there I need to sort out, they get my attention quite quickly because I'm constantly on my phone and I'm constantly seeing those numbers. And, with my emails, I don't have the same numbers with them because the numbers are too big. So I turn off the notifications. But, with your app,
I'm with you. So I get 200 emails a day.
Yeah.
And there's no way can I read 200. So I've got some filters on my emails. If I'm CC'd in something, I don't even read it. If there's certain words in it, I don't bother because I just can't read 200 a day. It's ridiculous. Oh. But you're right. When it comes to my phone, a notification pops up. Even if I got the sound turned off, I can see it. And the simplicity is, it's not just whether the notification's a reminder, or it's an upsell, or it's something. But the simplicity is making sure that that notification allows them to do it there and then on the phone. It's no good sending them a notification to go and do something somewhere else because they'll just want. So make it easy. Join you all together. You do it for social media, I guess, Mike. That's where the trick is with all that, is linking them all together so you're doing it in a strategic way. And apps are no different. People are scared of them because they don't understand them. They're absolutely frightened of the price. I've heard some horror stories about what people are being charged to do this kind of stuff. But it's all open to debate. It's all open for discussion. We're trying to do a couple of things to provide a great service. Obviously, expand the business and grow the name. But we try to do it with a level of honesty and integrity. That's what we're trying for. I've turned down 3 businesses in the last week who came to me for an app, and I told them I couldn't help them. And the reason being, there's no return on the app. There's no, whether it's service, whether it's upsell, and these particular 3 companies, I told them, look, I understand what you're thinking, but you won't earn enough money to even pay for the app. So it doesn't work for you. What you need to do is to go back to your website and redo your website to do it, because people come to you for a one-off service and they won't find your app until they found your website. And if you found your website, you just well catch them there.
You catch them there because there's not that efficiency benefit of cost saving, or there's not that extra revenue generation aspect to the app, which is going to fund its cost.
Absolutely, and I could have sold it. Don't be wrong. I'm sales not my background. I could have sold it to them, but we're really trying not to be that company that's selling is the real push. We want to deliver quality, and for that you get our full attention, and we think that's how we want to run our business. So it's working okay. It's a lot of people like it or don't like it, depending upon how you see it, but. I'm not as cutthroat as a lot of people. I'd rather the quality be right for the right price than just sell for the sake of it and sake of numbers. I want to retain my customers.
Yeah, have you looked into a sort of reseller affiliate structure within the business?
You're talking about like a franchise type model?
No, well, like an affiliate is really somebody who is in a synergy business and can refer people to you, and you can pay them a commission. Yeah.
We are looking at it. We've got a couple of we have got a couple of early doors affiliates. I give the example. So we've got one who does match day man of the match voting for sports clubs, and we've utilised them, and there's a real benefit for sports clubs at the top level. I'm not suggesting our local down the street rugby club would want that, for a minute, but. We've also got we're trialing out a broadcast system where when the matches are broadcast live, they will come through the app. So those will become affiliates because they actually they really do have a massive synergy with the app. Websites is another one. We do websites, right? But we stray away from it. There are lots of people who are much better at websites than us. And if we do it, it's really a landing page to kick onto the app. We're not doing much more than that.
No.
Because there are much better people. There's much better people in our network on websites than us. So website builders would be a real good affiliate because they deal with businesses, and the fact that you've got a website may or may not mean you need an app.
Yeah, it depends on the business,
the back and forth bit is when somebody says, well, we want an app, a website, we go and talk to these guys because reciprocally they're doing that for us. So you're right about that. But that's what the networking is about for me, Mike, is finding that area where you go, I'll scratch you back, you scratch mine. Let's get together and put you do that. Same with social media marketing. We've had one company ask us about it while we're talking to them, and I've gone, we know about it, but we're not great at it. But we'll dig out some contacts of people who do it as their sole job, and these guys are good at it. You can talk to them, and we supply it on that basis. So what we haven't looked at is a sort of commission type, for somebody who fetches business our way, them getting a commission for that sale to us. We haven't looked at that yet because it's fairly early doors in the networking for us to do that.
But I would say, I'm a former corporate sales director in a tech business offering tech solutions similar to yours, and I implemented a reseller and affiliate structure and scheme in the business, and actually they can be more productive and more beneficial than the end user clients. If you get 10 people who've got the right number of end user clients themselves, and they can actually introduce your product to those clients, then they've already got the captured market and the relationship and all of that, which means sometimes you speak to the right 10 people who've got 1,000 clients each who are all in that potential app market, and all of a sudden through speaking to 10 people, you're reaching 10,000 people.
And I hadn't thought of that, but you're right. And it's the right people because the affiliate is a synergy with your business, and they understand. So yes, it isn't something we thought about, but actually the benefit you just described is immense, isn't it? Because that's networking at its best, isn't it?
Yeah, I call it one-to-manys rather than one-to-ones. At the moment you're chasing one-to-ones, but one-to-many would be, for example, doing a deal with Intrabiz that says all their members get 20% off, and if you market it heavily to your members, anyone that comes through your marketing, we give you 10% commission. So you pay 30% commission, but then you've got an organization selling for you constantly, and all you're paying them is 30% commission. Whereas if you had salespeople on, you'd be paying them a salary and 15% commission. So sometimes you can, you know what I mean? So you can, and you've got to manage them and all the hassle that goes with them. So sometimes getting the right self-employed affiliate, who just does the work for you, allows you to get lots of customers constantly, and all you're doing is paying a reward based on results thing,
It's a really good idea, actually. We haven't told you the idea, but we were talking about how we could reward people that came to us with extra people because they passed your name on and they eventually bought. We thought we would reward the people who did the introductions and that kind of thing. So that's a step on and a much more formal step, which would work really well for us because my business is word of mouth. It's very difficult to market to people on a grand scale because it's business to business for the most part. And it's much better, as you undoubtedly know, you've done a lot of this, for somebody to say, I know somebody that does that and I've seen his work and, it's really good. And for the price he's charging, it's a really good business. And having that from somebody recommending it is way, way better than spending a massive amount on marketing that may or may not work. So it's a really good idea, and we hadn't thought about it. And thanks for that. I shall take that, and we will have another discussion about that, I suspect.
Yeah, okay. Well, the reason I drop these ideas out is because often I can help people implement these things. So, if I give enough ideas out, some people will run with them. Some people will come back to me and go, okay, how do I actually go about doing it? Or can you help me with this or that or the other? And there are things I can I can help with. So yeah, I'm an ideas person anyway. So I give people constant. I had a guy on yesterday who's just developed a invoice app called Arbuddy. Don't know if you heard of it or not.
No.
Give him about 2 additional revenue streams for his app that he hadn't thought of. And I'm an ideas person because I've been, I used for 10 years, I was going back and forth to 10 million plus turnover businesses and speaking about how they did things and trying to find other solutions and other ways of improving that. So, my brain naturally thinks in tech solutions. Which is why I'm interested in having a look at your apps, because if there's any app that I see as being a good nucleus for me to have something else built on, I could have a look at your app and then sometimes come up with my own idea of an app, which is, your app times 3 or something, Because that's how innovation happens a lot of the time. It hasn't got to start from scratch. It's like all the new cars coming out now. They're not new cars. They're old cars with newer bits in. Yeah?
You don't reinvent the wheel. Don't reinvent the wheel, Mike, do we?
No.
We just keep changing the parameters of the wheel.
Exactly. Just evolve, push the boundaries, evolve. Just keep thinking about the market. What does the market want from this facility?
Yeah, absolutely true. Yeah, and that's what we try to tell when we talk to the business. That's what we fetch to them. What are you thinking? Well, okay, well, what about if you did this? Because that would generate, and what would you do this? Because just your retention would be better. It's not always about just sell stuff because even though that's revenue, it's not always about that. You can there are lots of ways of generating more for your business to grow, and we see a lot of that because we demo it, we develop it, and we go, oh, there's an idea. Oh, there's another idea.
I got an idea for an app which I'll talk you through after this, but I think it could be monster size, like like one of the biggest apps in the world. Like it's that the idea is that good.
I'd be interested to see that, how that fits into what we already have and what it would do. I could talk to our developer guys for how do we do this? How can we do this? Because they're always open to challenges because they're developers and they love to think I know better.
This would be one of those. This would be one you won't have anything there at the moment. Plug and play that would do this. You might have something that is 20% of it or 30% or something, but this will be code and it'll be development, and well, I'm thinking it will be, but it may not be. You might know more than me on that. So
you never know. It's all about ideas, man. I had a demo conversation with somebody yesterday, and when I showed them, and they went, "Well, how does it help me?" I said, well, "You can't see it. So now let me show you what I would do with it."
Yeah.
And I opened up a few things and said, "Look, I would have this and then this wasn't what you asked for, but this is what I would do." And then push that, make people come into your business, expand your business by making sure. And it's all about people having your app. That's all it's about. If people don't delete them once they've got them, I got hundreds on my phone. I bet I don't use 3 a day, but I've still got hundreds on there. So it's about getting your app on there, and then you can take control of the message, which is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. But also it's about making sure that app has great functionality, because if you do get it on there, it costs a lot of money and effort to get it on there a lot of the time. And then if it doesn't do what it does, then it will just get taken off again at some point. Because although you got hundreds on there, I got hundreds on mine as well. But I'm always deleting ones to make room for new ones, because I got so many pictures and videos on my phone as well that I'm forever hovering around the phone max capacity sort of level.
So now you know why. So my son, who's my partner, owns 3 phone shops, and when you ask him why do people buy new phones, what's the point? That's exactly what he'd say. Phones have got to get bigger and quicker and faster, and because we're using more and more and more and more on them.
I use my phones, my old ones, as hard drives with all my content on, and I just keep adding new content to the new phone. So I have to keep my phones for a number of years because it's got all my videos and my pictures on for my social media marketing.
Yeah. It's strange how you can't live without it. I got a quick story which was quite interesting. So my world, my life, keeping in mind the internet wasn't around. Even when I got married, the internet wasn't around. So in my lifetime, we've gone from that position to my wife complaining, and I was only doing 70 miles an hour on the motorway, honest, that her internet connection was dropping in and out on her phone while I was traveling 70 miles an hour down the motorway. And I just give it a look, and I said, "You have to be kidding me. We never had the internet when we were young, and now you're complaining it's slow while I'm traveling up the country." and it just shows you how far we've come, doesn't it? And apps have been around a while. The next generation now, and then you look for the next thing. What's going to be after that? Driven somewhat by Apple and Android for sure, because they have 98% of the market. So. So what they do drives everything else really. But
yeah, that's similar to websites and web design, where like WordPress, WordPress dominate. Like they got so many, and there's always this like what I love about WordPress. I'm a WordPress designer, and I use a template builder and that. But then you go into the plugins, and there's like a plugin for anything.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? Because as somebody who's not a coder, I need those plugins. I need someone to have already thought of the idea and created it for me to be able to implement it, and I'm always amazed every time I delve into that plugin space. It's a bit like I bet you got code for this and code for that on top of your, if you like, your product portfolio of code. Your drag and drop. You got stuff you've done for all sorts of people over the years, which you keep there thinking, okay, I might need that again for another client or whatever.
And that's why we do the free demos, because it gives us a chance to look at different areas and actually put them into a demo and go, oh, that works. And it's not just a good experience to put it together, but you go, I don't like that one. When I look at it in real life, I don't like that one, so I'm going to get rid of that.
It works on paper, but it doesn't work on app.
That's right, yeah. And it's a brilliant thing, but it doesn't work for me, and I don't like it, and therefore I'm not going to use it. So we've had a couple of those type of things that we saw. It just doesn't look right for me. So I'll give you an example. That is live scores. We don't like the way it looks on the mobile, so we've gone somewhere else and found a different one. So people who are sports, people can look at the app and they can look at the scores of that particular sport. And that works really well. And we really like the outcome of it afterwards. We go, that's the one for us. And that's the one we then sort of partner and say, okay, we'll use you. We're here when you're ready for if you pass any business that way. So, but yeah, it is only limited by your imagination. However, sometimes that imagination gets a bit run away with you when you go, keep in mind, apps must be simple. If they're not simple, people won't use them. They must work, absolutely right, but they must be simple, because people don't want to do things complicated on the phone. Apart from the fact it's a small screen, that's an obvious thing. But yeah, keep it simple. That's our motto for people who are looking at what their requirements are. And I've had some hilarious requests, Mike, that I would just blow your socks off. And you go, are you joking me? You're asking me, and in fact, I did. I had somebody ask me to put a 20,000 item merchandising store on an app. And I said, the app will just die. That's what websites are built for. I can link to your website so that you can see all those products. But if you didn't want a website, you wanted an app. And I said, well, you have to have a website. I said, I'm not putting it on an app. It's just ridiculous. I said,
you could have just done you could have just done a front end app, couldn't you, with like an image and everything? But when they click on it, it takes them to the website. It's just like a portal.
And we do that a lot. It's part of all app builders do that. You utilize what's already there. Don't reinvent it. Yeah. But yes, you're right. But it is ideal of having 20,000 items in a downloaded app. And to him, it made sense. Yeah. But once you talk to him and go, but how big is 20,000 items? I said, you're talking about 200 megs worth of data. I said, a phone will never cope with that level of, so go and get a website. I could do it for you, but go and find somebody, that's where your main part is. And then we'll link to it from an app if that's what you want. But, you can't imagine the Argos catalog being on your mobile app, can you? No. So they do the same thing. It links to the websites and the stores that they're made. That's really not bad.
Yeah, if ever you need anyone to test run an app, I love doing things like that, because again, it gives me ideas about stuff, but it's like beta testing. If ever you need anyone, because user experience is a key, and obviously I'm very customer focused, having been in sales and marketing all my life. So it's all about that user experience. In fact, yesterday was you doing the A to Z of marketing on my podcast, and you was up yesterday, which was for user experience. It's about making sure that when you're doing your marketing, if you like, you're actually tracking what the user experience is and making sure it's as good as possible, because there are a lot of people, for example, who they don't realize that they build their website, for example, but then it responds to mobile, so it adapts to mobile friendly, and then they got things on their website that you can't use on your mobile, or they popped up or whatever, and you can't get rid of them and all that sort of thing. So that was what my podcast episode was about, and I love that sort of thing, testing tech and beta testing. And in fact, I get contacted quite a lot randomly by people on LinkedIn that'll ask me to beta test stuff sometimes, and I like doing that sort of thing because
it's really nice offer, actually, because it's nice to say it would be nice to have somebody other than us. At the moment, I use my wife or my daughter-in-law or my son-in-law and go, have a look at that, tell me what you think. In some cases we can't change it, so some companies have colours I don't like, but it's not my fault. That's the colour you want, as long as the functionality works. And for us, when we are testing it ourselves, obviously we're too close to it, because it's what's in our mind. It might not make sense to anybody else except us. So having somebody outside us who can have a look at some stuff, especially the high profile stuff, will be great, because it really is a bit of feedback that we miss at the moment, because we do all our own testing between us. I'm my biggest own critic when it comes to apps. But I get too close to it, and I go, and I tell you my biggest failing, Mike, and I openly tell this to your viewers and your listeners, is spelling. I can't type there without misspelling it, and I can't type "you" without misspelling it. There's something wrong with my keyboard skills that every time I type those words, it's wrong.
I got one which I used to use, right? It used to be a terrible misspelling, right? It was the worst one ever, but I'm pretty good, I am, and I'm pretty good at spotting it as well, because I do a lot of content and I've done for a long time. But when I was in sales, especially, right, when I used to type discount, I used to get the O and C mixed up the wrong way around. And I'm not going to say what is spelt.
Yeah, but I know. But
it wasn't good.
That's not a good look at a sales document. No, you're right.
And it was a word that I used to use a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
Because I was always offering a discount in order to get urgency, so give something to get something. So I used to leverage a bit of discount to get a decision, or a quick decision, or a better payment system, or whatever,
That is definitely one you got to spot early.
I used to think that mistake a lot, but yeah.
I had to tell people my spelling and grammar is perfect. It's my typing is rubbish.
That's right. It's the left hand. I think sometimes your left part of the brain works quicker than the right, or whatever. The hand that you use, it just goes slightly different speeds, But
I asked the typist about it. So why am I doing this? I said, that's because your mind is at one speed and your two hands are at different speeds. So you're typing faster with one hand than the other. She said, you only get rid of that with practice. But I don't type enough. I don't type hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of words a day. Which is what she said I would have to do, thousands, in fact. I don't do that. And she said, unless you're doing that, you'll never get rid of it now, because it's a memory in my muscles now.
It's muscle memory, isn't it? It's muscle memory. It's like I can type in the dark. Yeah, really? On the laptop, because quite often I'm doing work in the night. I prefer to do my web design work and all that sort of thing in the evening. When it's not the working day and you're not getting disturbed and that sort of thing. I'll sit down in front of a box set and I'll watch a whole box set and build a website. I'll do it in 8 hours or whatever,
Yeah, I can't do that. I got to look at what I'm typing.
I have it on my lap and I'm usually looking, but occasionally you get used to not looking down sometimes and looking down other times. But then what happens is then, as it starts getting dark in the night, you start losing the light, and often before. When you're in that phase where it's not quite dark enough to put the lamp on, but it's not light enough, but sometimes, because you're so used to typing in different ways, you just, where the keys are,
Yeah.
It's the same as the remote control. I'm like a ninja with a remote control. I hate having a new remote control, because a new remote control, you've got to find where everything is. But once you know where everything is, I can find it in the dark, no problem.
That's the one reason Sky remote controls have stayed the same.
Yeah.
Because
but I have systems, so you've got to go 4 up, 3 across, or whatever. What I mean?
Yeah. I'm just telling you with all that stuff, because I've been on Sky and now I'm using online TV, and that's an education, that is, in how to get everything you want. But muscle memory, that's typing. That's me. I'm hoping my muscle memory for golf comes back next week when I'm at the Intraviz event, because I haven't played for 12 months, and I had 9 holes last week, lost 9 balls, so that my muscle memory wasn't great. So I need to spend a bit of time in the range, I think, before I embarrass myself in front of all my peers, which could well happen, to be fair.
Well, I'm so competitive. I'm not very good at golf because I try so hard. It's the reverse of what you need to do. You really need to relax and not try. So I don't play golf. I go along to the networking events a lot of the time at the golf, and I'll drive around in a buggy if it's nice weather and have a couple of ciders and enjoy the 19th hole. But I don't particularly like playing golf because I get so frustrated playing the game because I'm one of those people.
Golf is an art in mental stability, mate.
Yeah. But I get determined. I like the sports that the more you try, the better you can get at it. But golf is like the reverse of that, really.
You definitely have to relax, but it gives you an ability to forget that shot, because if you can't, your next one's going to be rubbish as well, and the next one's going to be rubbish, But it does have a unique selling point, doesn't it? You only got to hit one good shot, and you think, I can do it. I'm going to come back again. I must be able to do that. And none of us ever mastered that, and not unless your name's Tiger Woods or Rory McIlroy, But I played for years and years. I was down at 11 handicap at one point. And even then, I was striving to try and see how I could save shots. But the bad ones still messed me up. Well, why did that happen? And you start overthinking the game. That's one of the ethos is me, my boy. We do have pretty good businesses, but we go, keep it simple. Stop thinking about it. Let things happen and move where you want to go. Control it. But yeah, it's difficult in golf, mate. I'm a rugby player.
I never played until my mid-30s or whatever. It's the first time I ever picked up a golf club. And if I'd have played it as a kid, I'd have been a whiz because I was good at everything I did as a kid in sport. I played for school. Like I was very good at rugby, and we won the league and cup double. I was number 8. And we won the league and cup double for the first 3 years of high school. I was the fastest boy in junior school and joined fastest in high school. And I used to play like baseball, basketball, discus, everything but I just never played golf. And now I get so frustrated as an adult. I'm just like, I don't want to play it, because it just makes me want to tear my hair out, Yeah,
it's quite strange that sporting people are good at sports. So I was good at sports, and I played squash and badminton and rugby and football, and I'm ex-Navy, so and all the time and all the countries I ever went to, I never played golf. And a year after I left the Navy, I started playing, and I thought, all those wonderful places I was at, and they give us free golf courses. Dubai, I went there about 14 times in the Navy, and every time we went there, they give everybody on the ship a free round of golf if they wanted it. And I never played, never bothered. And I think all those wasted opportunities I could have had, that would have been nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
but then I done scuba diving as well once I left, and I should have done that maybe because I would have got paid extra just for having the qualification. But I didn't do that until I left either. So strange how I think just as I got older and couldn't do the more physical aspects, I think I just I said, okay, what's the most sedate sport? Well, there's probably nothing more sedate than scuba diving. If I'm to be honest, it is nice and slow and easy. So we'll take that up. That suits me. It's really a step up from chess, I guguess.
Fair enough. I like to play chess, but I'm a bit still more into adrenaline stuff myself. I do a lot of things like zip wiring and indoor skydiving and all that sort of stuff. I quite like a bit of an adrenaline rush.
You're a thrill seeker, Mike.
Yeah,
you are.
Bit
a thrill seeker.
That's why I've been able to stay in sales all my life. Because sales is like a roller coaster.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Yeah, I've never done sales as a job. I've done a fair few jobs now, but they've all been in technology. But I've never done sales.
No,
I don't know why. And my son has done nothing but sales.
Yeah.
So definitely not following his father in any shape or form, other than he's got a spirit to create opportunities. That's what he does, and he's really good at it, and always has been. So, but yeah, I'm done with that thrill-seeking stuff. I'm 56, so I don't do that stuff. And I tell you what happened, Mike. When I left the Navy, I became self-employed effectively. So I ran my own company. I was the person there. I was contracting my services, and I broke my leg skiing, and I was out of work for 3 months. And at that point, I said I can't do any of that stuff because I can't work if I hurt myself. So he started going, hold on. And I don't know whether that was an age thing that made me think you are now vulnerable, whereas as a child you don't have any fear. Or whether I was just financially motivated at the time to think, I'm never letting that happen to me again. So pinball's a dangerous sport, and I might get injured. Because as you get older, you just get hurt more. And it takes longer to get over it.
Yeah, it does. But I think because I'm self-employed as well, but I'm quite good at telesales. So like, and also now I do a lot of Zoom appointments. So I always think like if I break a leg or I can't do this and I can't do that, I'll still be able to pick up the phone, even if I've got to get a headset.
Yeah, and I might change my mind now, because what I do is sitting in front of a computer all day going, oh yeah, what about this and what about that? Yeah. You know, I don't need my legs. As long as they don't damage my hands or my eyes, I'm probably going to be all right.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, great. And the other thing I was thinking of you doing as well is if you get like web designers who can't build apps, and you get them to sometimes sell your service but under their brand. So that's the difference between affiliate and reseller. So instead of an affiliate pushing people to you and you giving them a commission, they actually take care of the whole customer acquisition, looking after the customer and whatever.
That's an interesting point.
And they sell it under their brand, so they white label it. That's called.
That's an interesting position which I'd have to look into, because we are that. So we are a white label brand of a company called Easy Apps, which is the license model, because we use their software to do the building and what have you. So.
It would depend whether Easy Apps reseller contract to you allows you to have resellers or not, I guess.
That's right. Yeah, I remember reading it when we done the contract, but I haven't reread it for a few months yet. So I'll have to go back into that. But you're right. You know, in an either event, whether it's a commission based and you go, look, I'll pass you information, you pass me, and we'll do whatever we need. But the interesting is a reseller when they sell it as their brand. And could that be done? Well, there's nothing in the app that tells you who is delivering it. No. It's not branded that way, unless we are currently doing deals with people where we put in our brand on it. We're giving it a bit cheaper because then our brand is getting known. But as a generic app, the only logos on there, it doesn't say like websites powered by or that or copyrighted by. It doesn't say any of that on apps. So they're already white labeled in as much as they bespoke to the company you deliver them to. They don't have any reference back to the originating company anyway. But you're dead right. You know, people like yourselves and I who do building web and say, I need an app, Rob. We no matter what it is, we could deliver it to you and they wouldn't know it came from us. No. They would just get a login to the app, and the app would appear on Android, and therefore.
Basically, they're fulfilling the service. It's just you're doing the work, so you're subcontracting, if you like, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do. So the Easy App side is a big website base, but we don't use them per se. But we could go to them and they would develop something for us, and we would pay them for doing so. And the theory is the same, isn't it? No matter where you look, if a designer says I need an app that does this. Then we can build it and say there it is, and there's a dashboard that they use, and there's a login accounts that they need. Off you go. You know, you sell it to them, and this is the charge for doing so.
If I was your corporate sales director, some of the ideas that I give you today would be the first places I would start.
Oh, I'm really interested in the affiliate one. I have to go and check the reseller piece, but the affiliate one is almost a no-brainer, isn't it? In as much as it's all gain and no loss, really, because it's about numbers at the end of the day. Everybody knows that, and you have to increase those numbers. And I always said it's better a pound of £10 than nothing of £10. Yeah. You know, and I never understood that about salespeople. It's better to sell 100 at a pound than 1 at 90. Yeah. You know, so price your things accordingly. You know,
it's the same as like Dragon's Den. It's the same as like Dragon's Den when people are like, oh no, I want to only give away 20%, and they're like, well, I want 30%, and they're like, no, I can't budge for 5% or 10%, and you're like, yeah, but basically, right, you're holding on to 20% of say 300 grand instead of having, you're holding on to 70% of 300 grand, instead of having say 60% of 3 million.
That's right. Yeah.
So they get caught up in the number of percentages and forget about the actual what's actually happening.
Yeah. It's short-sighted, isn't it? You got to view what the reality is.
Yeah.
With one of my other heads on, so I'm a program project manager by trade, notwithstanding my naval days, for IT companies. So where you were talking about, you advise them on technology can make it better. People like me implement it, and that's the service I provided. And I have one of those knacks where you go, that don't work. You're paying money for that for nothing. Why didn't you go there and do this? And why didn't you just amalgamate those two and use the shortest route to your end result, not what you were doing? But that comes from 20 years of experience, and that's what they pay me for, because that experience is knowledge, isn't it? And you go, sometimes they go, I want to do this. Well, no, that's not what you want. Now tell me the bottom line of what you want. You want this, okay. Well, that's different to what you started. So think about what it is you were trying to achieve. And if you were trying to achieve bigger turnover, that's great. But what are you willing to pay for it? And where's the risk? And in the Dragon's Den sort of situation, there's minimal risk, Mike, isn't it, really? Those guys are not just good at what they do. There's a reason they're multi-millionaires.
They're the best at what they do.
They're the best at what they do. And if they say, I'm going to give you £20,000, but I want 10% more of your business, you'll be saying, tell you what, give me 10 and I'll give you 35% of my business.
It's like basically saying, I'll turn your 300,000 worth into 2.5 million worth or 25 million worth. But I just want a slightly more percentage share of that money, yeah. And then you're going, well, I don't actually, for the sake of, they're like, oh, I don't want to budge on 5%, but the difference, you're making a choice between, millions of pounds.
Yeah, it's not apples and apples, is it? No, it's apples and potatoes, isn't it?
They don't understand. They just don't understand the choice that they're making. I bet if someone sat down and said, okay, this is the numbers, not the percentage, I think they probably understand it. But I've seen some, I'm just like, why the hell are you walking away for 5%? Like, you know what I mean?
And you see, you go in there for a reason, don't you? And what they thought they stuck with is this 300,000 figure. And you go, if I give you 30% of that, that's 100 grand I'm giving you, and I'm only at 2. They miss the whole point of even being there.
Yeah, they don't realise this is the percentage of the bigger business that they're going to grow you into.
Yeah, absolutely. It made me laugh. It makes my boy shudder. He stopped watching it.
I'm not a massive fan. I hate it as well, like the Dragons do, when they forget their numbers and stuff. It's like basically he's turning around and saying, I don't know, I can sell ice cream, and then when you come around to my ice cream parlor and I'll give you some samples, and then when they come around, it's like I got vanilla. It's like a basic thing, like, you know what I mean? It's like you're going in there to pitch your business. At least know what your business is.
Do you not think there's a distinct lack? So we're I'm going to say we're similar age generation. I'm probably older than you, but there's a generational problem, isn't it? Because I see the same on The Apprentice. Because those people write a business plan before they get there. And then somebody reads it and rips it apart. And going, how do you go there and lie on your CV?
Yeah.
Well, you know at the end they're going to find it. Just don't I wouldn't have got there if I hadn't put that in. That's because you don't deserve to be.
Yeah.
There's no reason.
Yeah, it's just you're thinking it's like,
or I've got a multi-million pound business. Well, no, you haven't. You've got a business that turns over £50,000 and you want to make a multi-million pounds.
Yeah, you think the size of the market is worth multi-millions. Well,
right.
I got loads of businesses. The size of the market's a massive. It don't mean that my business is worth the size of the market. It's worth the percentage of the market I can get against all the competition I'm competing with for that market.
Yeah. Some of the comments do make me laugh. And I don't see and I don't, because I'm not an introverted guy, but I'm not one to laud my own praises, but I'm a very intelligent guy and always have been. And I can see things and go, what are you doing? Even as me, I can see right through your plan. Yeah. And I haven't even read it.
And you're not a multi-billionaire who's been doing The Apprentice for 15 years and smelt it. Right, it's like, to be honest with you, right? To be honest with you, I've unearthed a couple of fakers on social media.
Oh, really?
And they've been young kids from Africa.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Well,
because they're like pretending they're Bitcoin experts or this, that, and the other. But because I understand psychology and I understand social media, I can see a genuine account from a fake account a mile away.
It's interesting, isn't it?
But people,
there should be no surprise, really.
But it's a bit like scammers, isn't it? It's like scammers. I've not been scammed in my life because I go into every situation with suspicion and let people prove. Yeah, because that's the world we live in, unfortunately. I'd rather give my trust and then let people spoil it. But the world we live in now means if you give people trust automatically and let them and remove it if they do something that warrants that, which is the proper way that life should work. But
That's
in
right,
the world we live in now, you just be getting scammed and ripped off left, right, and centre.
It's very true. I forget how many conversations I've had with my wife where she goes, "I've had this email that says, why are you even reading it to me? You know what I'm going to tell you. Read it."
I told you the last time. Like the worst is with the old folk, like who trust everyone. Like that's the worst, because they come from a generation where they used to leave the doors open and where that trust was first implied before someone deserved to have it taken away. But that's just not the world we live in now. Unfortunately, there's too many people on the take. There's too many people on the rob. I assume everyone is a dodgy con artist until they prove otherwise. It's the safest way to operate.
And as unfortunate as that is, it is very true. Yes, it is very, very true. And there are so many of them, and I've seen them. I've dealt with them. I dealt with them for my parents and my wife's parents, where they have this stuff come through, and you go, no, ignore it. They'll go away. And if it was really important, they'd find a way of contacting you. They send you a letter, but just ignore it. Especially anything from the bank, just delete it.
Exactly.
It's a sad world. Like they've got to be like that.
It is sad, but it's just reality. It's like they all, because I come from sales as well. I understand urgency creation. So, for example, scammers, that's what they use. They use urgency creation. They use something to get you to be a bit kerfuffled and stuff like that. And so they're like, oh, your money's going to get lost unless we do a transfer. And now we have to take it out of one account to another. And they're like, oh, but I need to speak to my son. And they're like, well, if you go and speak to your son, it'll be too late and you're losing money. I understand urgency creation from a legal sales point of view, how you create urgency to get people to make decisions. So like, but other people who don't understand this sort of psychology, this sort of pressure, this sort of stuff, they fall for it and then they end up transferring their money. But I can assure you, no matter who rung me in the world, I would never ever touch my money and transfer it to anybody. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen. Like, you know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah, and they are very good. I've seen some emails that you can look at and go, that's definitely from Amazon. Definitely from Netflix. And everybody I know, I tell them, if you get emails from these people for anything, don't ever touch the email. Just go on your computer and log in to the system yourself. Don't touch for these. You just go and have a look. If you're interested and you're worried, you use
Google search. I just Google search and do a review. Is it Asda scams, Argos scam, whatever? Just type in. Plus, also, if you have a look at the domains, a lot of them are clever. They'll register a domain and then they'll register on a .co or something rather than a .co.uk.
That's
right.
You
got to study the domains, like you can tell.
The trouble with that, is we understand that because it's technology based.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's a whole generation of people that wouldn't understand that even if you explained it to them.
Yeah.
And that's a worry. Hopefully, the newer generation are all savvy and understand this because I don't see that problem going away very soon. For sure. But yeah, you're right. It's a sad indictment that the first thing that people want to do is rip each other off. And I hate it with a passion. I got a great story for you actually about one that backfired. So this company sent my wife an email, which was to her father, and saying, "Oh, we're delivering this £136 worth of goods to you that you ordered online, but we've tried to take payment and we couldn't get it." So I said to him, I just said, "Ignore it." I said, "They can't take the money unless you authorize this." So the emails kept coming. So my wife got a bit bored and thought, this is wrong, because if we went to her father, he would fall for it. So she phoned them. They hung up on it 3 times. And the way they were talking, it was incredible. We phoned the bank, said, "Look, whatever you do, we don't know whether it's real or not, whatever you don't pay these people." And they sent the goods anyway. And they actually sent the goods, and my father-in-law got them, and he never paid for them because they had no way of collecting the money. And what they wanted was for you to go online and give them the details, by saying the order was already on its way. So backfire on that a bit, but it catches a lot of people out because they fall out and say, "Oh, I don't remember ordering that, but here's my details." I obviously did. Perhaps I forgot in my old age. Sad world, and we need to do all we can to change that, really.
But that's why I like talking about these things on things like this, trying to educate people. I'm always trying to educate people, especially with tech. This coronavirus has helped a lot with the older population getting more used to technology. But
Absolutely.
I used to take that as a bit of my mission because I've always been around tech, and I like helping people. I've always tried to help the older entrepreneurs who aren't so tech savvy to watch out for these sort of things, because it's the thing like service providers and stuff, they take your intellectual property right, they own your domains. There's a lot of people out there who they give their rights to stuff over to other people and then get caught out by doing that down the line. I'm always trying to help people stop those sort of things happening.
Yeah, we've got a couple where people have said, I want a website, so I haven't got a domain. You go, no, I know how to do it. So do you want us to help you to do it? This is your business, it's your thing. We're quite happy to help you do it, but we can't do it for you. It's impossible. And actually, to do it, we need to be on a screen together because we can't do it. You need to type in the passwords. You need to do that. You need to, whatever it is. Yeah. Well, we have one or two like that just to show them, because the people who want a website, you go, yes, they want one, you can have one. And yes, you're right, you can go to somewhere like GoDaddy and pick one up for £1. But actually, you don't own any of that. It's not bespoke for you. It's not built for you. It doesn't sound like you for the most part. So, if you want to do that, that's fine. But to do it properly, do it this way. And not always, as I said, necessarily with us. Sometimes the better advice is to go somewhere else because there's somebody that's better at it than we are. Hosting mail and stuff like this, my pet hate, I've been in technology 20 years. My pet hate is businesses that run their businesses through a Gmail account or a Hotmail account, and they advertise it as such. Yeah. And I go, it's really small money to get your own, and it's not worth having Gmail or Hotmail. Have something professional. It's not. But of course, for these guys, it's difficult. They don't know. So I spend a lot of my time talking to people I know, going, look, this is only going to cost you 20 grand. Yeah. You don't get your own, and it looks much more professional when you've got your own email account with your own domain name on it, and then every email you write is an advertisement of your business. And big or small, generally the small ones, obviously plumbers, electricians, people like that. And I go, look, just think about it and go have a look, because actually having a website and having your own email is two things you should have. It's the only way you can grow doing anything. Word of mouth is fine, but if I want to go and find a plumber, the first place I go is Google. And I type in plumbers in my area. I said, if you haven't got a website running there, you're never going to get that business. And I can guarantee you, 60% of people, it's what they do first. Yeah. If they go on Google and they say plumber near me, I said, and you are not on there. I said, so for a very small amount of money, you can be on there and at least have a chance of getting that business. And if you're really good at it, you have a real good chance of getting that business, But people don't understand
when you're in trade, so as an SEO person, what I would say is when you're in trades, when you compete with tradespeople, it's perfect, because you're not competing against other technical people, so it's actually quite easy to get to the top of the search engines. I got to compete against other SEO people and other marketing companies, and you know what I mean. So I have to be like a ninja of the best of the best of the ninjas. What I mean?
Yeah, you're a rubbish ninja because you were third in the list.
Yeah.
If you were third in the list, I'm likely to be 10th in mine. So I'm not going to be absolutely true. Yeah. In that industry, not that some of you listeners will understand SEO, I guess, but yeah, it's definitely an area that is becoming more prominent in everything everybody does. They don't realize it, but it's everything is driven. And it took me a long time actually to realize that SEO. I kept getting adverts on my phone for holidays and things. And it took me a long time to realize that was because SEO was driving me down places with Facebook remarketing and that type of stuff. And it was showing me stuff it thinks I wanted to know. It hacked me off. And I actually thought somebody was spying on me at some point. So I thought, how do you know I've been talking about this car? Yeah. It never occurred to me until after that it's doing a bit of fancy intelligence in the background. So you look at this car once, so you're interested in this one, and that's very clever stuff, isn't it? But people don't understand it.
Yeah. How do people get in touch with you, Bob?
So they can use the simplyapps.co.uk page. They can go and have a browse around in there. My email address is r.price@easy, spelled EAZI-apps.com. But feel free, have a look at the website, drop me a note, and we'll have a discussion, and we can create free demos for almost anything, no obligation to them. I'll be pleased to talk to you, and maybe together we can make a difference to your business that improves what you do and how you do it.
All right, brilliant. Because I got another call I have, so I'm going to have to leave it there. But it's been great. I could have talked tech and got to know you even more for ages. I can talk tech and sales and business for forever, but I just got to keep within my schedule. But it's been great having you on my podcast and on my YouTube channel, and it's been great getting to know you, Bob.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for inviting me, and I should be listening to the others in the future, and we'll get together again soon.
All right, brilliant. All right, then. Thanks a lot. All the best.
Cheers, Mike.
Bye.